Have you ever thought about what could make each day more wonderful and full when you wake up? Life feels a lot like a big wave that brings all kinds of unexpected things. In the midst of this whirlwind, can we find the calm, power, and knowledge to firmly believe that the answer lies in how you start your day with a heart full of stoicism or having gratitude and a clear mind, which is the theory of resilience? Not some far-off, vague theory, but a code of conduct for living fully in stoicism always helps us remember that controlling our happiness doesn't make us happy. Everything that happens to us, but we can choose how to react to it. It only takes a few fairly simple phrases that have a lot of power to build a steady and inspired day. Instead of rushing in the morning, picture this every day. Before you dive into the stress of the day, you take a moment to think about what you're thankful for. Inner strength to get through hard times and the humility to accept what can't be changed. 7 important statements that are said every day, not just as seeds of peace, courage, and knowledge. Let's look at these 7 affirmations. Strong Stoic reminders that will help you face each day with courage, drive, and a heart full of hope. Don't let life's storms beat you. Let your mind guide you. Way 1. Every morning when the sun comes up, I'm thankful for a new day. Rise. Do you stop to feel the first light of dawn, or does your mind wander? Right away, dive into the whirlwind of daily problems that the modern world has to offer. It seems like relentless pace makes us forget that just getting up and living another day is enough. Day is a great honor, and saying, I am thankful for this new day, is not just a reminder, but a deep way to follow the Stoic theory that will help you start your day with mindfulness, peace, and thanks. Thanks is an important part of Stoic philosophy because it tells us to think about the good and important things in life instead of focusing on what we don't have or can't change. Marcus Aurelius, the famous king, wrote in Meditations, "When you wake up in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to live, think, enjoy, and love." This simple truth helps us remember that each new day is not only a chance to live, but also an honor to live, think, and love. But how can we really feel this when modern life is so hard? As soon as you wake up, take a moment to ask yourself, what do I have today that I shouldn't take for granted? In this situation, I should think about those who have had to deal with unimaginable problems, like Nick Vujicic, a man born without arms or legs who has inspired millions of people with his powerful message of strength. For him, every day is a chance to appreciate the worth of life and the pleasure of living, despite not having everything, but he's thankful for his family and what he does have. He can talk to you and his strong will. You may wonder, but how can I feel? When everything is going wrong and I feel like giving up, I need to be thankful, or injustice. The answer depends on how you see it. Stoicism shows us that even though we can't change what happens, we can decide how we will react. For example, instead of getting up and whining about how hard it is to work, tell yourself that not everyone can work and make a difference. Instead of getting angry about troubles in the family, remember that love and people, the ability to meet and share, are gifts that not everyone is lucky enough to have. Even small changes in your point of view can have a big effect on your mood. The Stoic theory of life often uses nature as a metaphor to show that Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Dwell on the changes that happen and the worth of every moment." The beauty of life, watch the stars and see yourself running with them each new day like a shooting star across the night sky, is a gift from the world. When we see the beauty of dawn, it is not merely sunlight, it is a reminder that life is worth cherishing. No matter how brief or challenging, consider those who have survived natural tragedies, such as when people have been through terrible things like earthquakes in Turkey or floods around the world. They often ask, What did you do? What they value most is not their stuff, but the chance to live another day with, when things are worst, their loved ones' gratitude becomes the light that guides them. Practice being thankful every night if you want it to become a part of your life. Every morning, take a moment to write down 3 things you're thankful for. Things like a good night's sleep, a warm cup of tea, or the company of your loved ones. By doing this, you start a good pattern that makes you value your loved ones more. Today, the saying, "I am thankful for this new day," is more than just a statement of gratitude. A call to take it easy, enjoy what you have, and start the day with a better attitude is something you can choose every morning. Not just to get through the day, but also to enjoy every moment, the present without worrying about the future. To start your tomorrow with this important lesson, let gratitude light your way, because being alive is already a wonderful gift. 2. I accept that things will change. Have you ever thought about why we avoid change and stick to what we know? Desperately trying to hold on to what cannot be held, refusing to face the true essence of life, impermanence. Yet it is within this impermanence that Stoic philosophy finds the deepest meaning of life. The phrase "I accept impermanence" is not merely a reminder that everything changes, it is a brave and peaceful way to accept that life is always changing. Stoic philosophy says that you should not only get rid of fear, but also find real freedom. Everything in life is temporary, from feelings and things to life itself. Marcus Aurelius writes in Meditations to observe constantly that all things take place by change and get used to thinking about how the world works. Loves nothing more than making new things and changing old ones. Like them, he didn't just see change as something that would happen. He saw it as a sign of the natural and creative essence of the world. When you learn to accept that since everything is changing, you don't have to try to control things that aren't yours. Have you thought about whether you are fighting against life's natural flow? Am I going with the flow, or am I learning to move with it calmly? Technology is always changing. Phones that we used to think were cutting edge are now old technology. Where we store our memories and relationships is but a fleeting moment in history. Impermanence is the nature of progress, but also the source of loss. When you accept that all of these things, whether they are gadgets or your role in society, are temporary, you cling less to what could leave at any moment. Stoicism encourages us to embrace impermanence, not just to prepare for loss, but to better value what we have now. Epictetus said in Discourses, "Never say about anything, 'I have lost it, but instead I have given it back.'" He viewed everything we hold, whether material goods or relationships, as temp gifts from the universe borrowed for a short time. This perspective can transform the way you see the world instead of fearing loss. You learn to feel gratitude for having had it at all. Think of a cherry blossom in spring. When is it most? How pretty is it when it first blooms or when the petals start to fall off? The bloom's short life doesn't make it less valuable. In fact, it makes it more valuable. Us cherish its fragile beauty even more. Life is the same. Impermanence is not a reason to be afraid, but a warning that each moment is valuable. If everything were eternal, would we still see how valuable it is? Or would it become boring? Everyday life is useless, but stories about accepting change can be found everywhere. For example, think about a player who is at the top of their game and has to leave because they got hurt on the field, and many of them find peace when they learn that their sports career was over. Just one part of their life. Andrea Pirro, the famous Italian football player, once said, "I'm not sad to leave football, it was always meant to be. And now I embrace what comes next." This peace comes from accepting that nothing lasts for forever, and in that change we can begin anew. Finally, think about, you might ask yourself, am I ready to accept that everything, my job, can I find peace in letting go of things, even if my life is short? of control? The answer might not come right away, but as you start to accept impermanence, you will feel a sense of comfort. Impermanence is not an enemy, it is a great teacher, showing you that only by letting go of what cannot be kept forever can you truly be. To be free to accept change, you have to tell yourself, I'm not afraid of it. Because I understand that life is beautiful when it changes, I work on being compassionate. I and many others find that Stoic thought is often taken as a strict, emotionless philosophy, but a closer look at one of the main values of classic works is compassion, which is shown by the phrase, I cultivate compassion. For myself and others, this philosophy shows and serves as a gentle reminder that kindness is the key to getting along with others and living in peace with ourselves. But how can we teach kindness in a world that is mostly about competition? And being cold, the answer is to understand and practice. In speeches, Epictetus talked about awareness and stressed that we are not bothered by things but the way we see them. This lesson is deeply linked to have compassion when you know that people don't do bad things because they want to, but because they are led by false ideas. When you don't know something, kindness takes its place. Imagine a co-worker acting irritable or not cooperating. You could ask yourself what instead of getting angry. What problems might they be having that I don't understand? This question not only helps you empathize with them, but also shields you from the negative feelings that can harm your well-being. Compassion isn't just about treating others kindly, it's also important. Setting goals for how you treat yourself is one of the worst things we can do. Having too high of hopes for ourselves, which leads to sadness, self-blame, and a sense of not being worth anything. Marcus Aurelius in Meditations wrote that you control your mind, not the outside world. This will give you strength. Think about how many times you've blamed yourself for things you didn't mean to do. Instead of admitting you made mistakes and did the best you could under the water. In some situations, self-compassion doesn't mean forgiving mistakes. It means understanding that you don't have to be perfect. And that's okay. Ask yourself, am I perfect? Actually being kind to myself the way I'd want to be kind to someone I love. Understanding and compassion can turn things that seem bad into take a look at the story of Mahatma Gandhi and his fight for India's independence. Being independent, he had to deal with a lot of unfair treatment and hate, but he didn't fight back. He chose compassion as his weapon out of anger, as Gandhi famously said. He learned that compassion is a muscle that gets stronger with use. Oppressors, he didn't just see what they did, he also knew what fear they were feeling because of the false beliefs that were leading them. He not only changed political landscapes, but he also touched the hearts of people who were against him. Even if you're not a great leader, show compassion in your daily life today. People like drivers who are stuck in traffic for hours on end, single mums who work non-stop, or even you when people are having a hard day. Small acts of kindness like a smile, a thank you note, or just putting off judgment because, as Epictetus said, nature gave men one tongue but two ears. We may hear from others twice as much as we speak. Understanding others through their words or actions is the simplest way to cultivate compassion. A recent and relatable example comes from an everyday encounter. At a supermarket in Tokyo, a cashier patiently assisted an elderly woman who continuously complained about prices. When asked why, he explained that she had lost her husband and children, and this was her only conversation of the day. For him, compassion wasn't a way to keep in touch with other people, not out of duty. You might ask yourself, I try to show the same patience and understanding in my daily interactions. Compassion for myself and others is more than a personal affirmation. It is a guiding principle for all relationships. It reminds us that compassion is not a weakness, but a profound inner strength. When you treat yourself and those around you with compassion, you not only ease present pain, but also plant the seeds for lasting happiness. Ask yourself, have I lived with kindness today? Only when your heart is filled with empathy can you truly touch the depth of life. 4. I walk the way of wisdom. When you tell yourself each morning, I walk the path of wisdom, you are not merely stating a goal, but defining the direction of your life. The path of wisdom is not a place you can get to, but a journey you take all your life. Discovery and growth. But this isn't just academic or knowledge. Stoics believe that wisdom is being able to live in peace with others. Nature makes sound choices based on virtuous values and keep tranquility amidst life's inevitable changes. Epictetus once said, "A man can't learn what he thinks he already knows." This statement serves as a wake-up call to anyone complacent in their understanding. One of the key principles of walking the path of wisdom is humility, the acknowledgement that we never know everything and must always remain open to learning. Ask yourself, what can I learn today from those around me? From the challenges I face and from my own mistakes. Wisdom does not arise from perfection. It is forged in the most challenging lessons of life. The path of wisdom is not always easy. Consider the story of a potter. To create a beautiful vase, the potter must patiently endure trials. And of course, sometimes a vase will break in the kiln, but the potter learns from this to change the fire or pick better clay. In the same way that wisdom comes from having the patience and understanding to accept our flaws and mistakes, failures and trials, Marcus Aurelius emphasized this in Meditations. If someone can show me that what I think or do is not right, I will happily change, for I seek the truth by which no one was ever truly harmed. He did not fear being challenged because every rebuttal brought him closer to the truth. But the path of wisdom is not only about learning and correcting mistakes, it is also about the courage to act in alignment with the values you believe in. Imagine being a fisherman at sea facing a fierce storm. You have two choices: turn back to the safety of the harbor or press on to save a critical catch. A Stoic would choose the latter, not out of recklessness, but because it aligns with a larger purpose. Such action requires wisdom, the ability to weigh risks against rewards and fears against goals. This idea is vividly illustrated in the story of Viktor Frankl, a Jewish psychologist who survived Auschwitz in the harshest conditions imaginable. He kept the wisdom to understand that the ultimate freedom of humanity is the ability to choose one's attitude toward any circumstance. He wrote, "In man's search for meaning, everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances." Frankl's story demonstrates that wisdom is not confined to books, but serves as a torch to guide us through the darkness. In modern life, you can see examples of walking the path of wisdom in how people handle workplace pressures. A great leader doesn't just give orders, they listen and learn from their team. When they make mistakes, they take responsibility and use the experience to improve. Similarly, in personal relationships, someone who listens and empathizes rather than stubbornly defending their viewpoint is also a question you can ask yourself every day to help you stay committed to walking the path of wisdom. This path is, do the choices I make today match the ideals and wisdom I want to? You can find a balance between thought and action, understanding and ethics, if you live by this question. Remember, the path of wisdom is not a straight journey. There will be days when you lose your way, but recognizing this is itself a sign of growth. As Seneca said, no man was ever wise by chance. Wisdom does not come by accident, but through conscious effort. Every day when you say, I walk the path of wisdom, you are not just reminding yourself to live responsibly, but to contribute meaningfully to the world around you. Walk forward step by step with patience, humility, and faith that each new day is an opportunity to learn and grow. The path of wisdom is the most beautiful journey you can choose in this life. I am at peace with myself. I am at peace with myself. A simple yet powerful declaration that forms the foundation that enables us to face life's challenges in Stoic philosophy. Inner peace is not something that happens by chance. It is the result of cultivation, acceptance, and deep self-understanding. But how do we achieve this peace in a chaotic world where external pressures and expectations constantly pull us away from our true selves? Stoicism teaches that true peace can only be found within, not in external circumstances. In modern life, we are often caught in a whirlwind of comparisons, competition, and ever-changing society standards. Have you ever asked yourself, are the endless efforts to please others truly making you happy, or are they worsening your pain? Inner peace doesn't come from meeting others' expectations, but from accepting yourself, your strengths, as well as your FLA. To illustrate this, consider the life of Epictetus, a philosopher who was once a slave. He had no control over his external circumstances, yet he found inner peace by mastering his thoughts and reactions. In discourses he wrote, "Man is disturbed not by things but by the views he takes of them." Epictetus understood that our emotions are not dictated by events, but by how we perceive and respond to them. This insight goes directly to our lives. For example, someone rejected for their dream job may feel defeated and insecure, or they may remind themselves, this opportunity does not define me, I am still valuable, and can create new opportunities. Another modern example is the story of those who choose to live a minimal living, a simple life in a world obsessed with stuff. They let go of getting rid of their extra stuff, helps them focus on what really matters, which sets them free from the grip of scarcity or desire and experience a sense of freedom and peace. This aligns with Seneca's teaching. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor. If you ask yourself, am I living to satisfy myself or to please the world? The answer might be the first step toward inner peace. Beyond philosophy, practice is key. One exercise encouraged by Stoicism is contemplating mortality, memento mori. While this may sound grim, it helps us appreciate the present and accept life's impermanence. When you confront the realizing that you only have so much time makes small worries go away, and it becomes that it's easier to be happy with yourself instead of worrying about, do you care what other people think of you? Will this matter a year from now, or even at the end of my life? Inner peace also comes from forgiveness, not just for others, but for yourself. We are often our own harshest critics, feeling perpetually inadequate or unworthy. But remember, even the wisest philosophers made mistakes. Seneca wrote, "Everywhere means nowhere." When a person spends all his time in foreign travel, he ends up having many acquaintances but no friends. Instead of blaming yourself for past errors, view them as lessons that helped you grow. Are you imprisoning yourself in old wounds? Or have you learned to let go and find peace? Ultimately, the phrase "I am at peace with myself" is not a proclamation of perfection, but a commitment to yourself. It is a reminder that you don't need to be someone else or live a life you didn't choose. It is an agreement to live in your truest nature, accepting that you are enough, even when the outside world tries to make you doubt it. By starting each day with inner peace, you not only transform the way you live, but also spread that peace to those around you. As Marcus Aurelius said, nowhere you can go is more peaceful, more free of interruptions than your soul, and in that place you will always find your true home. 6. I focus only on what I can control. Life is an unpredictable stream where events often unfold in ways we cannot foresee or control. Amid the storms of life, is there a steady ground we can hold on to? Stoic philosophy offers a simple yet profound answer. Focus only on what lies within your control. The phrase "I focus only on what I can control" is not just a reminder but a core principle for navigating challenges without being swept away by negative emotions. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher who once lived as a slave, laid the foundation for this principle in his Ennead. Some things are up to us and some things are not up to us. He explained that what we can control includes our thoughts, actions and reactions. In contrast, everything else, such as the weather, other people's health, or criticism, is beyond our grasp. The difference between someone who lives easily and someone who constantly worries lies in their ability to distinguish between what to focus on and what to let go of. Ask yourself, how many times in life have you been drained by things you couldn't change? Have you worried about a colleague's disrespect or felt annoyed by a heavy rain ruining your plans? Such moments not only sap your energy, but also rob you of the chance to invest in what truly counts. For example, a farmer can either resent the relentless rain or focus on reinforcing his fields against floods. This simple choice holds the key to freeing oneself from the burden of what lies beyond control. Imagine an athlete fighting in a crucial match. He cannot control the referee, his opponent, or the audience, but he can control his focus, his show, and his determination. If he pays too much attention to external forces, he loses himself. Conversely, by focusing on what he can do, he achieves peak performance, regardless of the results. Stoicism is not simply theoretical, but provides practical tools to focus on what you can control, a familiar yet powerful exercise. Every morning you can ask yourself, well, what's the worst that could happen? What might happen today? Think about the problems you might face and picture how you'll handle them calmly. If you know that someone is going to criticize your work, you'll be ready to deal with it when it happens. Overreacting. This practice isn't meant to make you more pessimistic. It's meant to get your mind ready and focus on focusing your energy on things you can change. Picture a content creator who has to deal with mean comments. Instead of dwelling on criticisms they couldn't change, they chose to work on making their. This is how Stoicism is used in modern life. Life is full of risks and things you can't control, but you shouldn't let them get you down. Dictate your emotions. Focus on what you can change, your thoughts and actions. And Epictetus tells us to make the most of what we have the power to do. You can only accept the rest as it comes by learning to let go of what's outside. Truly free in your mind and heart? If not, ask yourself that question when you wake up tomorrow. Ask yourself, what can I control today? What can I let go of? Answer might just transform your life forever. 7. I face challenges with courage and resilience. The phrase "I face challenges with courage and resilience" is a powerful reminder of the nature of life and how we confront adversity. In Stoic philosophy, life is likened to an arena where each of us is a gladiator, and courage and resilience are the weapons we use to face inevitable challenges. No one lives without encountering difficulties, but how we react to them defines who we are. Courage and resilience, 2 core virtues of Stoic thought, are the keys to overcoming life's storms and getting stronger. With each stumble, Epictetus, one of the most prominent Stoic philosophers, once said, "Problems are things that show a person what they are. Talks challenge, as are not enemies. They are mirrors reflecting our inner strength and character." Every obstacle in life is an opportunity to discover the latent power within ourselves. But how can one maintain courage and resilience when everything seems to go against them? Pause and ask yourself, is this the time to give up? Or is it the moment to prove my capability? Remember, courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to act despite it. Examples of courage and resilience are not confined to philosophy. They vividly appear in everyday life. Take the story of Erik van Meer, the first blind man to summit Mount Everest. He not only overcame physical challenges, but also defied societal prejudices. Erik shared that he didn't see his blindness as a limitation, but as an opportunity to challenge himself and prove that human will can conquer any obstacle for Eric, the mindset of I face. It wasn't just a phrase to face difficulties with courage and strength, it was a way of life. That pushed him to heights most people would be afraid to even think of. Are courage and resilience natural traits, or can they be learned? It's clear that Stoicism can get better with practice, says another Stoic. Philosopher called attention to fire tests, gold tests, suffering tests, brave men's letters to Lucullus. Just as fire makes gold purer, it makes people grow. Adversity. This means that every challenge is not a curse, but a chance to become stronger. Think about the times you've faced mistakes in your life, whether it was a broken relationship, a failed project, or a weight dream. What did you learn from those moments? Was it not through these trials that you gained patience, resilience, and the strength to rise again? The phrase I face challenges with courage and resilience also serves as a reminder that these virtues don't always equate to victory. Sometimes they simply mean not giving up. No matter how dire the circumstances, consider Malala Yousafzai, who was shot by the Taliban for supporting women's right to education. Instead of succumbing to fear, she turned her experience into a platform for global change, becoming a symbol of what drove her was courage, faith in her ability to make a difference, and an unwavering determination to follow her dream, even when scary things were happening. Stoic philosophy says that problems are not things to be solved, not something to avoid, but something to face. It is in trouble that we learn, discover who we truly are, and if each morning you remind yourself, I face challenges with courage and resilience, you not only prepare your mind to tackle difficulties, but also cultivate an unshakable will to withstand anything life throws your way. This is the core of Stoic philosophy that turns hardship into a teacher and every problem into a step toward becoming a better person. Life, like a river that's always moving, takes us through moments of serenity and stretches of turbulent rapids. Each morning offers a new opportunity to set your mindset and prepare yourself for the journey ahead, to live a wise, thankful, and brave life instead of trying to be perfect. The things you tell yourself every morning are not meaningless repetitions. They are guiding principles that lead you through challenges, help you keep clarity, and open your heart. Stoic philosophy tells us that life is not defined by what happens to us, but by how we respond to it. These 7 affirmations are powerful and deep. Part of the journey to building inner strength, they tell you to appreciate the small things, embrace impermanence, cultivate compassion, walk the path of wisdom, and face every difficulty with unyielding courage. These are not just lofty words, rather they are seeds that you can plant in your soul to grow a life with more purpose and grit. This philosophy to others, stay tuned for more Stoic lessons displayed at the end of this video. Together we can make the world a better place. By embodying these mantras and practicing Stoicism, we can inspire others to live with purpose and resilience. Let's continue to support each other on this journey towards a more meaningful and fulfilling life.